Hey, welcome back folks, and today we're going to talk about another favorite Chinese breakfast dish of mine. Chinese Sesame Bread with Scallion. Now don't confuse this with the typical Sesame Pancake. This is the Chinese Sesame Scallion Bread, also pronounced as芝麻大饼. This bread is a fluffy, thick bread filled with scallions and crushed with sesame seeds. It's commonly found in northern China cuisines and especially popular in Chinese Islamics. Now there's many different types of variations of this dish, but I'm going to show you the recipe that I grew up with, and I hope that you guys love this dish equally as well. For this recipe, you need the following items. Now for this recipe, I'm using King Arthur's all-purpose flour, unbleached. It's what I have available. You can also use wheat flour or bread flour. Now get out your scale, because this makes this whole process easier. And no, I don't have the measurements in cups. For the yeast, I'm using Red Star Active Dry Yeast. That's what I have frozen in my fridge for over a year. For this recipe, you'll need 2 teaspoons of instant dry yeast. You'll also need 270 grams of lukewarm water. The temperature of my water is around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. You'll also need 1 tablespoon of sugar. Now you can also save time by mixing the flour in all directly, but I prefer to activate the yeast for 1 to 2 minutes before adding in the flour. I always get better yields and better results. After resting for 2 minutes, go ahead and add in your 500 grams of all-purpose flour. Now it's time to get out your dough mixer. You can also do this by hand, but it's much easier to use a mixer. Also make sure you add the dough attachment on. Lock it in place and turn it on to medium to low speed. Ideally you want to mix this over a period of 8 minutes. If you're doing it by hand, probably around 10 to 15 minutes. After 5 or 8 minutes, you should see the dough wrapping around the dough attachments. When the dough is finished mixing, transfer it to an oily pan. Cover it with a saran wrap or a cloth, and you'll let the dough rise for 40 to 90 minutes in a warm place, or until it doubles in size. While my bread is rising, I'm going to head out to my hydroponic garden and grab some scallions. They sure have been growing rapidly. Ideally, you want 3/4 of a cup to 1 cup, or probably 3 or 4 stalks. Take those scallions and chop it up into fine pieces. After 40 to 90 minutes, your dough should have doubled. Mine's almost outgrew its dish. Transfer your dough to a lightly floured table. At this point, you just want to roll it around just a little bit and not overly overwork the dough because you don't want to deflate it, because the dough has to rise again for another second time. When the dough is light to the touch and not sticky anymore, grab your rolling pin. Now here you can get roughly around a half a centimeter thickness. This may take a little niggling and finesse. After reaching the appropriate thickness, it will be time to add in the flavors that really bring out the flavor of the scallion bread. First, we're going to start with sesame oil. And lightly brush it on. You can also use vegetable oil or lard. Now you're going to add your scallions that you chopped up earlier. Now we're going to add a tablespoon of each of these 3 spices. Feel free to adjust the spices according to your taste. Now I also like to add a tablespoon of sesame seeds inside the scallion bread. When you're ready, grab one end of the dough and start rolling it into a log. After rolling into a log, grab a knife and do a cut across the log. Now this is fairly decorative if you're baking it, but since we're pan frying it, doesn't hurt to do it. After you make your cut, grab one end and just roll it into a circle ball. Stretch it as you go, and you get a nice round circle. Now grab your cast iron pan. Here I'm using a 12-inch large cast iron pan. Make sure it's oiled before you put your bread in. Now we're going to let it rise for another 10 to 20 minutes. Now this step is absolutely critical, don't skip it. This will allow the bread to rise for a second time and add some bubbles to the cavity of the bread. After 10 to 20 minutes, it should look something similar to this. If not, press down on the bread to flatten the bread around the pan. Now it's time to add your sesame seed to the outside of the bread. Mash some little oil or sesame oil and add your sesame seeds. About a tablespoon is more than enough. Feel free to add more if you want. Now turn on your stove to medium-low. Now we're looking to aim to cook it for about 10 minutes on each side. Now the whole trick of this is to make sure that the inside of the bread is cooked. If you cook it too fast, the inside of the bread will be underdone. If it's cooked too long, well, make sure you have your fire extinguisher close by. Don't forget to cover it. This helps ensure that the inside of the bread is cooked. After 10 minutes, take a peek of the bottom of the bread. Now if you feel you want to toast it a little bit longer, you'll have free, add more oil. And when you're ready, flip it over like a pancake. At this point, you still want to keep your flames at medium to low. This helps ensure that the inside of the bread is cooked. At this point, drizzle some more oil, add some more sesame seeds to make sure that the other side of the bread is cooked. And let it cook for another 10 minutes. Cover it again, do some Hail Marys, pray to God that it's cooked in 10 minutes. After it's done, chop it up and you'll be ready to serve it. Now this scallion bread prepares nicely with some morning porridge or your favorite soup. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. So I hope you liked my recipe. Smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any comments, suggestions, put it in the comments below. I'd like to hear back from you guys, and once again, peace out.